Welcome, 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 everybody. This is week 6. I'm Diego Davis, and here's my co-host, Danielle Doyle.
Hello, welcome to See You Next Tuesday. We are here again. We're really excited. A wonderful guy. His name is Jonathan Pierre. I actually met him in one of the nursing groups online for nurse-owned agencies. He's super inspirational. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his life. You're going to be really excited to hear about it, especially if you're a nurse and you like traveling. So we're going to get him in here in just 1 second.
Before we break off, we have to talk about like what happened this week with Access Healthcare. We're being advertised on NurseFly, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And we've updated our website, and for all travelers, we're kind of going to be out there on Spotify and iTunes really soon. We do have we have a calculator. We could actually estimate how much you're going to bring home as a traveler, which is amazing. Even if you're not traveling with us, you can come to our website and use. Our website's been updated. It's going to be like a hub to find all types of information, wellness, and just about anything from sports medicine. We're going to have massage therapy. We're going to have all types of inspirational life coaches, people that you've seen online on our show in the past. You'll see the URLs, the links to their websites as well.
It's going to be amazing. It's almost done. We're also just about to launch our shop. And some other Access Healthcare news is we got 2 pretty cool accounts this week. So you're going to be seeing a lot more jobs in Pennsylvania for the contract department, as well as the per diem market. So 2 big accounts. We can't really say what they are, but we've got a lot going on over here.
Pretty damn big. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Yep. All right. So without further ado, here's Mr. Jonathan Pierre. You're going to love this guy, guys. There he is. Welcome to See You Next Tuesday. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Yourself?
Yeah, we're good. We were
Glad
just
to have you,
talking
man. Nice to meet you, Jonathan.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
Diego, I was telling the gang that I had met you. I'd met you online in the NOSA group, and it's a group full of really inspirational people, and we seem to connect through some common interests. And I just saw that you had so much inspirational stuff going on in your life, and we had a lot of similarities. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a nurse. How did you get started, and what are you up to right now?
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having me on. Always good to just kind of connect with nurses doing their thing. Congrats on the podcast and just getting it started, getting it done. Yeah, so I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I am a step-down nurse, started as a pulmonary step-down, but I only worked in New York the requisite 2 years that most agencies require you to travel. And as soon as that was done, I was out of there. I'm like, I'm going to Cali. And I was having a side conversation with Diego just about how stressful working in New York is as a nurse, in the East Coast in general.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I was able to travel, I knew that's what I had to do. So yeah, I came to California, and I've been traveling up and down the coast. I've started in San Francisco, then went to San Diego, then Oakland, then LA, then San Jose, and now I'm actually about to start an assignment in LA. So I'm living my California dreams right now.
That's amazing, man. Oh my God. We just had a guest last week, Kate McLaughlin, talking about safe ratios. Is it true about California? It is safe ratios. You have like 2 to 1 if you're ICU, 4 to 5 if you're a step down tele.
Yeah, actually, if you're step down tele, so if you're like a real step down, it's actually 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. I've worked in some hospitals in step down where it was 3 to 1, and it's it's a lower ratio, but the step down, so they're still heavy, still really sick. But yeah, no, the ratio thing is a real thing, which is why I'm still here. Like it's a real thing. Imagine this, right? You're in the ED in New York or New Jersey or Florida. There really is no rate. There's no cap. They need you to have 8, 9, 10 patients. Like that's what you're gonna get. California, 4.
Whoa. Oh
It's
God.
just, at that point, it's a quality of life thing.
You just started making some New Jersey and New York legislators start sweating, man.
Hey, man, listen, give me my sign and I'm ready. Let's change this. It's crazy out there.
That's crazy, man. What else? What about the sites, man? Is it San Francisco? Everything must be beautiful over there, amazingly compared to the East Coast. I mean, the East Coast got their thing, but God bless.
Yeah,
man.
well, listen, I'll tell you one thing. I'm a New Yorker, like that's for sure. And just the way I carry myself, the pace in which I like to move in life, I realized that very quickly. Like I am a city boy. I am an East Coast guy. And I love my East Coast personalities. But the environment on the West Coast is extremely different. Just like the aesthetic of it, right? You know, like driving through the Bay and just like green rolling hills, or in San Francisco, it's just like a beautiful city. There's a lot of poverty and homelessness in some areas, and that's really unfortunate. But the city itself, the landscape is beautiful. So I found that being on the West Coast actually resonates more with just like my spirit, like in general, just like the environment of it is beautiful, man. And it never fails to it never fails to be noted. Even just like when I'm taking a drive, you mentioned just like driving down the Pacific Highway. You know, I've taken that drive on my car, with my car, even on my motorcycle. I bought a motorcycle when I came out here.
That's awesome.
I've taken that drive on a bike, and just the whole time just in complete awe of just like the beauty that
Yeah,
is California. It's a beautiful state.
You're doing stuff that people Google, man.
I'm trying to live my best life.
Right. So
Yeah, it's definitely amazing. And like I said before, you're so inspiring. It never seems like you sit still. You're always researching and doing something. And what I really loved about you is this company that you started where nurses can actually travel around the world while they're on assignment. Nursing can be so full, and you created an outlet for them to jump into, and you can be their guide and take them around the world. Tell me a little bit about that. It's called Travel. Tell me the name, please. I'm sorry.
you were struggling with this.
That's okay. So it's Med Travel Hub.
I wrote it on my hand. I wrote it down.
And you got a little sweaty. He's like, it's travel. No, yeah. So I started Med Travel Hub. You could check out medtravelhub.com. We're currently transitioning, but we'll get into that. But yeah, you know what they say, necessity is the mother of all invention. When I came out to the West Coast and was working, I had started doing something else, kind of like you said. I'm always like doing something, and that particular thing didn't work out for me. It was a very stressful time. But once I let go of the energy of that stress and realized, accept the things you cannot change, control the things you can. Like the next day, the concept for what was the next iteration of Med Travel Hub, like literally, I let it go. Woke up the next day, like I know what to do. And part of that was understanding the experience of a traveling healthcare professional, just how much of a transient lifestyle it is. You come to a city, you're here today, you're gone tomorrow. You meet a bunch of people, and then they leave, because they didn't extend. And it's cool because you build relationships and they go everywhere. You know people in all different places, but you leave and they leave. So it could be a lonely thing. So that was one thing that was happening that I realized as I was meeting some really great people. Another thing was I hadn't been on vacation, like a real good travel experience, since maybe 2014 or so. So in my head, I'm thinking, man, I need to get away. I've been dying to go to Thailand, and I'm going to go to Thailand. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a whole bunch of people with me. You know what? I think I'm going to start a company where I take a whole bunch of people with me. So yeah, I had a whole bunch of people together. I think it might have been 18 of us total. And, we went out to Thailand under the flag of Med Travel Hub. And that's where it started. But the real work began coming back, branding it, sharing with other people like, hey, this is what we do. Like, welcome to the hub, and trying to get people on the next one. Like that was where it really began. But, that trip, people ask me, oh, what was your favorite trip? That trip to Thailand was incredible because one, I went with a lot of people that I knew. There were a few people that just heard about it and they came, which is great. But I got all these people together that I had known in San Diego. I was there for almost a year. And I'm like, hey, I'm starting this thing. And they were all like, I'm coming. And just sharing that experience with them. The first one, I remember being at this rooftop bar in Bangkok, night one, just looking over the whole city. And with my guy, Angel, who's a travel nurse. And he's like, man, you did it. Like, we're here. And it was an incredible feeling and a great experience. But it wouldn't have happened without other people being down for the vision and participating and coming and traveling with me. So cheers to
You
all the
think you made
nurses.
a lot of close personal friends now that are lifetime friends from like experiences like that? You make a lot of connections.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you right now, I have like a crew of hardcore supporters. I mean, they are so down for me. So I've done Thailand. I've done 4 trips, but I've done Thailand twice, right? So I have a group of maybe like 4 or 5 nurses that have been on every trip. They've been to Thailand, they've been to Spain and Morocco, they went to Colombia, they were gonna go to Africa. They're just like, tell us where that trip is, and we're there. Like, we're down with this.
That's
And
awesome.
it's like a family reunion every trip.
Right, right. Oh my
And then
God.
you bring new people in. Like,
Mhm.
it's a good thing.
And then tell us how it branched out. You started out taking nurses on vacations, and now you got something else big going on.
Yeah, well, it's it's very serendipitous how it kind of happened. People say, "Oh, I don't believe in coincidences." Um, if anybody has read the book, The Alchemist, I know Danielle, you have.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One of the things it talks about is like following the omens or just paying attention to what the universe is saying to you. And it's funny how when things happen in the time that they do, because I knew the travel thing was great, but I really didn't know how we were going to scale. I mean, I knew I could do X amount of trips, but I still had to work. And to really do more trips, it's a big endeavor. But I knew it was going to be one step to something else. I just didn't know what that something else was. And then, you mentioned that we were a part of this group, the NOSA group for nurse-owned agencies. And the administrator of that group, shout out to Shamika, she reached out to me. And I'm not sure how we connected. I don't think I was in the group yet, but, social media. And she just pitched it. She's like, you know what? You should think about starting your own agency and leveraging, the community that you have, the brand that you already have, the trust equity that I've already built. And, you should think about leveraging that into starting a staffing agency. And I thought about it for a few days because it just wasn't on my radar. And then it made sense to do. So I just said, hey, I'm all in. I think this is the move.
That's awesome. That's a great story. I think that's why our community, we kind of get along together because we have the same inspirations to do other things with our life and kind of go with the universe. And
Right.
we've had guests in the past that kind of had that same vision, which is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing it yourselves.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy 5 years, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody meets for a reason, and I have a feeling that we met for a reason. So we'll see where our future takes us. Because I tell Diego all the time, like, you got to meet this guy. He is absolutely awesome. We have so much to learn from each other.
Yeah,
So you're big on social media. I think you're big on social media. You have a good following. Like you said, you have a lot of people that are down for you and that support you. And I see that on your personal Facebook page, you pose questions on a daily basis to people to kind of open up their minds and get them thinking about things that might not show up in everyday conversations. Can you tell me a little bit about it? It's called Question Culture. And when did you start? And where are you going with it? What do you see happening?
That's a very good question because I had no idea where I was going with it. I didn't even know. It's crazy how it started. So in general, I'm not a huge fan of social media. I'm a communicator through and through. I'm into people. I'm into real life personal interactions and conversations. I'll be on the phone with friends. There are friends that I talk to. When we call, it could be easily 2 hours. Like, that's nothing for me. So I think the way social media is set up, it doesn't really lend itself to very uh, genuine engagement at times, depending on how you use, but just like the landscape, in totality. I mean, it gives people an opportunity to curate themselves and present the version of themselves that they want the world to see.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had once said in a conversation, it's something that was never on my mind, but clearly in my subconscious, but I was talking to a friend and I said, you know what, I'd rather be known than seen. And one day I'm sure I write a little bit, I'm going to make that into a piece, but that it's in there. I'd rather be known than seen. And I think social media gives people opportunity to see you however you want to present, but nobody knows you. So I couple that with my being a communicator, and one of the most important elements of effective communication is really listening, right? Understanding your audience. And to get to know your audience, you either just listen to what they say or you ask insightful questions. So just in my personal life and in my day-to-day interactions and with dating, but just in general, I find that people don't tend to ask very thoughtful questions. And they don't ask follow-up questions. And I don't think it's because of like disinterest. I think just like other skills, communication is something that needs to be worked on. And if you're not aware of that and actively sharpening your communication skills, it's not going to get better. So if you're not even aware that you need to be a better communicator and like, what are the ways to do that? Then how are you going to do that? So in thinking about like, okay, what am I going to post on social media? I don't want to just take, you know, like selfies all day, and I don't have a six pack, so we're not doing that thing.
Yeah.
You know, I thought like, well, what do you want the world to know about you? If you'd rather be known than seen, what do you want to be known as? And just be your genuine self and present who you are. And one of the things I am is a very curious person, genuinely. So I just started asking questions, and like whoever wanted to be as open, as vulnerable, as funny, like whatever you wanted to do, I leave it up to you. But I figure like, hey, let me ask some, you know, what I think to be are just some insightful or thoughtful questions, and, you know, share that with whoever wants to share it. And that's kind of how question culture began. Where it goes, I mean, I don't know, but I enjoy when people answer responsibly. Sometimes people make a joke of, you know, whatever the question is, and that's cool too. You engage how you want to engage. But when people actually like, you know, they actually share and answer the question with some mindfulness, I think it's dope because it's a public space and people can see what you're sharing. And I think you know, vulnerability is really dope when people can get there. So, you know, people who share, kudos to them for participating.
That's awesome. When do you do it? You just come up like once a week, or just whenever you feel like? Is there like a set time when you ask questions, or?
Yeah, I tried to do that initially, but it became too stressful because I really don't like social media. So now I have to like be on a schedule to posting, and it's just like, oh, I got to come up with a question, like, you know. So at first it was just like very casual, and then it became a thing I had to do because people were texting me out. Is there gonna be a question today? What's today's question? I'm like, really? Like, you care?
Yeah.
But now it's like when something comes to mind, I'll share. There's no pressure. I just, you know, it is what it is. And I'd rather it be that way because that again is more authentically me. It doesn't have to be a thing. It's just a moment. If I have a question I want to share, and engage whoever wants to engage, like, you know, come and share. So when I shared the recent one that Danielle was talking about, as far as like, I will, you know, blank by blank until, that came from a very personal space. I had a conversation with somebody, and we were kind of talking about something I started doing and I stopped. And when I took a moment to think about what happened, I pivoted and I did something else. But the truth of the matter was I gave up, and I had to swallow that pill. And I really thought about it, like, oh, you gave up because you didn't keep going until you stopped and started doing something else. Now, it was extremely stressful. I lost a good amount of money. All those things are true. However, I didn't keep going until, you know, I stopped, and I had to sit with that. And that was, you know, the impetus for that question, you know, is put it out there. Like, you know, you will blank, blank, blank until. So, yeah.
Yeah,
It touches a lot of people. Probably touches a lot of people because there are a lot of people going through a lot of things always, you know. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
So I see you on YouTube. I think you need to start a channel if you haven't already. And you're really good. He's really good at music as well, guys. Like when I watch your videos, you know how to edit and do all sorts of things. So a lot going on.
You know, thank you. I do have fun with that stuff actually,
Yeah.
but it's so time consuming. I can't get sucked into that rabbit hole. Those are more like pet projects, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, definitely. It's been really nice talking to you. How can people connect with you regarding, you know, traveling, going on a trip, going with your agency? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so people can find me at on Instagram at Med Travel Hub, on Facebook at Med Travel Hub as well. My personal page, Jonathan Pierre, and our website, medtravelhub.com. I did take down the section with the trips now. We have to cancel a number of our trips for this year. We're supposed to be in Africa and Greece and Vietnam and Bali, but COVID. So that's a
Yeah.
thing. But when things normalize or we return to a new normal, because the international community needs us as well. Tourism really sustains a lot of people. We'll be back, and when we come back, we're gonna rally the troops, get some healthcare professionals together, and continue to travel the world and share amazing experiences, with each other and the people we meet, locally where we land. So that will be back up on medtravelhub.com when we put some new trips. So follow us on our social media, and when we're ready to hit the skies, I'm looking forward to having you guys. That means you, Danielle, and you, Diego, too.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We're really excited. I've never been out of the US other than the Caribbean islands, so I'm looking forward to going international. Looks like we're having a little trouble with Diego here. We're looking to get some kind of crazy storm here in New Jersey. But guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. As we say every single week, you need access to get in, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Hey.